Hi, this is Russ Tanner from Global Skywatch, and it is August 10th, 2015, and this is Global Skywatch Radio. Tonight, we're going to talk about the largest crime against humanity in human history. I'm glad to have people on the call-in console already, and I'm glad to see people in the chat room, and I know over the course of the next few minutes, more and more people will join in. I want to invite anyone and everyone who wants to join to call in our call-in console, because we do have an open mic, because not only is this just a radio show, this is a public meeting for people to join in and speak up, talk about events that are coming up, and tell us what is on your mind. So I am going to make a few audio adjustments here, make sure everything looks good in the audio department, which I think it does. If there are any audio problems, please let me know by letting me know in the chat room, because I do monitor the chat room. Otherwise, we'll assume everything is looking okay. And I want to give you the call-in number. So if you have an announcement about an upcoming event, please call in. The number is 605 562 3140. And if you want to get that phone number from the web, go to globalskywatch.com/live. Good evening to everyone who is in the chat room. And if you are having any problems with the stream or anything doesn't work for you, please let me know in the chat room. Also, one more time, the call-in number is 605 562 3140. And when you call that number, you'll be asked for an access code, and that code is 156230. And you can get all this information by going to globalskywatch.com/live. People in the chat room are saying they keep getting a timed out video, or video will not load. I'm getting the same problem here on this end. Makes me wonder how much longer we're going to keep using live stream, because I had these problems last week too. Never used to have this before. I don't know if it's a software problem or what it is. Let me just tell everyone to please keep trying. All right. And then please let me know if the problem keeps happening. I'll give it a few seconds here. globalskywatch.com/live. Please get the call-in numbers, and that way I can talk to you. Please announce your upcoming events. I want to draw your attention to the Global Skywatch website. The website has gone over a major expansion this weekend. Up here you will see a new area called Whistleblowers, and you will also see an area on celebrities. We have a whistleblower section, a celebrity section now. Our music section is now linked to up here under the community section. We have a link up here for adding a badge to your website. So we like when people will add a badge to their website. That's a way you can get people to Global Skywatch website. It's very easy. It's like putting a bumper sticker on your car, except you're putting a badge on your website. So I encourage you to put a badge on your website. We have a link down here for networking, which helps you link up with people who can help you with your project, or you can offer your services to people who you want to help if you have a skill. Like if you burn DVDs, if you design flyers, if you have computer technical skills, if you have any particular skills that you think would be valuable, advertise them here, and then people can meet up with you and be much, much more productive, because let me tell you, you get two people together, they're worth 10 people in their efficiencies. We're getting more people calling into the console, so I can't wait to talk to everybody. I do want to also draw your attention to the science area, which is brand new and has nothing there yet, but it will be expanded over the next coming weeks. And there's a disinformation section that is going to give you the answers that you need to answer those who are giving you disinformation. So here are the new sections on the website one more time for those who just got on the audio stream. Boy, I'd love to have my own stream and not have to do it on live stream because there's more problems. It used to be rock solid. Don't know what happens anymore. But whistleblower section right up here. Celebrities. Let me show you the celebrities page here. We are adding more celebrities. We already have more celebrities in the queue. We've got Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins, Jim Corr from the Irish hit band The Corrs. He speaks out against chemtrails, just as Billy Corgan did. Prince, of course, is in a popular video that a lot of people saw that speaks out against chemtrails. And don't be fooled by the term chemtrails. I know I use it. A lot of people use geoengineering. Chemtrails, if you do a search on Google's, often comes up as a conspiracy theory, which is very unfortunate because it really refers to geoengineering. And then Roseanne Barr is also a celebrity that's mentioned here. You can click on any of these people's pictures, and it will bring you to their interviews or their audio sections that help you to see what they have to say. All right, we have the whistleblower section, and so far in our whistleblower section, we have Ted Gunderson, which a lot of you have heard. He's a regional chief. He passed away last year, I believe it was, but he was a massive whistleblower that talked not only about chemtrails, but about human trafficking that's going on by the CIA, all kinds of incredible information he offered. Kristen Megan, everybody who knows about chemtrails is familiar with her. She was an environmental hygienist who found that the material safety data sheets that were being given to the military by manufacturers were actually missing the name of the manufacturer. And this is illegal. She brought this up to her commanding officer, and to make a long story short, after she tested and found contamination of the same metals that she was loading on the planes, or they were loading on the planes, and doing it with incomplete material safety data sheets, was showing up in her environment, she went to her commanding officer and was told threateningly to shut up. Jens, that's the name being given to a guy from Dresden, Germany, who's come forth and said he used to install the hardware that's used to spray. So that's the whistleblower section. You saw the celebrity section. Also, we have a music section where we're putting together, we already have a pretty comprehensive collection of music. Here's what this looks like. On the left sidebar, we have Cry Die, What I Hate by Merle Haggard, Chemtrails by Beck, who's Beck Hansen, very popular musician. The Sky is Falling. This is by Dale Bazio, who is the singer of the 80s band Missing Persons. So if you were listening to music in the 80s, you know who Missing Persons were, and he made a song about chemtrails. Also, Murdering Us from the Sky from New Jersey singer-songwriter Jeff Saxon. I've spoken to him. In fact, I was honored to contribute footage of spraying that was used in his music video. I met him a couple years ago online, and just great song. I love that song. Also, there's an alphabetical listing of all of the songs that we have. A pretty decent collection down the left sidebar. Just click the one you want to see. Here's Murdering Us from the Sky. And there it is. Just as a test, let me see if that audio is coming through the stream. I see the sky lately, those wicked white lines, the poison, and it fall on you and I. These devious deeds will sadly proceed until we all demand. Great, thank you, CP, for letting me know the audio is coming through. They're murdering us from the sky. It's time to stop the madness and end this evil crime of murdering us from the sky. If we don't, we'll die. In the bright light of day. All right, that's Jeff Saxon in our music section with Murdering Us from the Sky, one of the original songs. Won several awards, and there's some of our chemtrail footage that I contributed to him, so thank you for that. Let's go back to checking out the different parts of the website. We have a petition section. We have a badge your website section here. These are bumper stickers for your website. Just go in here and copy and paste. You can right-click on any of this text and copy it and dump it right into your website or your blog or your email, and that will provide this little picture with a link to our home page. And there's a whole collection of all the standard dimensions of graphics. Some of them are landscape, some are portrait, in all the standard sizes. We've had this here for a long time. It's not going anywhere. It's there for you to help us to raise awareness about this. I also want to talk to you about our networking section. Let's click here. This is very important, and we started to really decide to start accenting this section right now because we want people to network. This is where the real power is when people get together and share their skills. And by the way, before I go on any further, please go to globalskywatch.com/live, all small letters, LIVE. Get the phone number for the console and dial in and talk to us tonight. Announce any upcoming events that you have coming. This is a meeting. This is your meeting. This is your show. The mic is open. So here's a section that's called I Need Help with My Project, and here is a forum that's called I Have a Skill I Want to Share. Please, if you need help, go to I Need Help with My Project. We're going to really be pushing these two areas hard, because if you want to participate and you don't know how to burn DVDs, you don't know how to make big files available online, if you want to print flyers, if you want to do anything, if you need signs made, whatever, go here and ask for help. And if you have a skill you want to share, go to this section, I have a skill I want to share, and let them know that you have a skill that you're happy to share with people, because networking is how we're going to win. All right, so that is the networking section on the website. New section we have here also is called Science, which is not complete yet. Nothing there, so we'll be growing in the few upcoming weeks. Next section, Disinformation. This is the place where you will get answers to all of the disinformation that the paid government shills, who are traitors to our country, to our health, to our environment, and who are aiding and abetting the largest crime against humanity in human history. This is where you can get the proper responses to all of their arguments. For instance, they say things like contrails in the air are formed just like when you exhale on a cold winter day. That's a lie, because when you exhale, there's a tremendous amount of moisture. Coming out of a high bypass turbofan, there's very little moisture. What there is carbon soot, which is the result of burning kerosene, which is essentially what jet fuel is. So we're not going to let them lie to us. We're going to have the responses you need here in the disinformation section. All right, if you want to call in, 605-562-3140, or you can go here to the Global Skywatch website and click Global Skywatch Radio right here. Here's our Global Skywatch Radio page, and there's a section here called Call In Numbers. Just click on that. There's the U.S. phone number and the access code right there. In fact, let me zoom in on that so you can see that. All right, if you have any announcements or anything, I'm going to start putting people in the call-in console on so that we can start making some announcements. Because remember, this is your show. This really isn't a show. It's kind of a meeting. And we're going to discuss things, and we're going to get into the deeper side. A lot of people want to know why they're spraying, what is in the minds of those who are spraying. And I love getting into this subject because it makes it very real. Once you understand what the international bankers and the industrialists of the world believe, and you will understand why they do what they do. I'm not saying it's a good reason. It's not a good reason. But you will understand why the news does and says the things it does, why they twist the truth, why they lie to the public. Everything makes sense when you have enough information. Unfortunately, today it's difficult to wade through all of the wrong information. I want to say hi to everybody in the chat room. I'm seeing everybody there. CP, Clean Air, Dina. Good to have you all there. And I want to talk to you in the call-in console. Go to globalskywatch.com/live. Get the call-in number and talk to us. Gary, I believe you're on with us from the Tampa area. Why don't we chat for a moment? What's going on, Gary?
Hey, Russ.
Hey, Gary, what's going on?
How you doing? Oh, I'm excited about tomorrow. The EPA hearing is going to be tomorrow at 10 a.m. I just wanted to announce that so if anyone's listening I have a call-in number to listen, to the hearing. You won't be able to talk, but you'll be able to listen to it. I have the call-in number and I guess the access code. I don't know if you want me to share that.
Yeah, please do. The call-in number and the access code so you can hear the EPA hearing. Tell us, what is that, 10 a.m. tomorrow?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us more about it. What time is it? What are they going to cover? What do you know about the hearing tomorrow?
Okay, I'm on the phone, so I got to minimize it to look in the back screen. I have the number saved, so I got to...
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. We're patient.
I'll go get the number right now.
Go ahead and get the number.
I'll stay on. I'm just going to get the number.
Okay. Go ahead. Anyone else who wants to call in, go to globalskywatch.com/live. There's so much that I want to talk about. I've been studying myself government corruption for a long time and put enough pieces of the puzzle together over the last few decades that when I watch the news, it makes sense. I don't watch the news to learn what's going on in the world. I watch the news to see where they are directing people's attention so that I can understand what the next few moves are. I believe personally that beginning at the end of this year, we're going to be beginning to see the dominoes fall. I don't like making time-based predictions, so forgive me if I'm wrong about this, but this is probably the first time where I've actually put a time frame on this because the indicators are there. Gerald Celente, if you're familiar with him, he's a very well-known financial consultant that talks, has his own radio show, has his own newsletter. He's very highly regarded. He's the only person who claims that all of his predictions have been accurate. And Gerald is saying that before the end of this year, all the major stock markets in the world are going to crash. This is a huge prediction from a guy who's never wrong. When that happens, there's going to be a whole domino effect of things that go down. So please prepare and be ready. And tonight, I'll be more than happy, and we can talk about how to prepare and how to be ready for this. Gary, do you have that information ready?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so tell us about the EPA meeting tomorrow morning, I guess it is. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be at 10 a.m. It's going to be located, at the EPA, in D.C. The telephone number is 866-299-3188, and the conference code is 143-3527-160. They'll be able to listen in.
Okay, let me read that back and make sure I have it right, so I'll bring it up throughout this tonight, throughout this meeting, so that people remember it. Call-in number is 866-299-3188. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then the access code that they need to connect is 1433-527160. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, tell us, so what do you know about this meeting and how can people participate?
We're going to have some real, popular activists going there. Amanda Williams, I'm sure you know her.
Yes, Madison Star Moon. She's been on this show. For those of you who want to know who she is, go to Global Skywatch Radio here on the website if you're looking at the live stream. Up here to Global Skywatch Radio. Let me see, don't have it zoomed into the right place. Here we go. Global Skywatch Radio here. Go to the archive of previous shows, which is down here in the lower left. And right here, back, we did a show with Madison Star Moon, which is Amanda Williams, and John Masseria on October 21st, 2013. Click on that. Click on the graphic. And we have Amanda and John here on a great interview about disinformation. So go ahead. Amanda's going to be there. Who else is going to be there?
We're going to have Jim Lee. I'm not sure if you heard of him.
Mm-hmm. I've spoken to him before, yeah.
And Max Bliss.
All right, good. From Europe, yep.
That's the three that's going to show up. And then Michael J. Murphy was injured, or hurt. So he's not going to be going, from what I heard. He was supposed to be there too, but
Okay, the meeting is, what is it, 10 a.m. Eastern time then?
Yeah, 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay, and people can call in.
2 hours.
2 hours, okay. People can call in, listen by phone. Is there any live stream they can go to that you know of, or is that it?
Oh, that's it. You'll be able to just listen in live. A few of the people, they may be recording it, so we'll find out later tomorrow after the hearing.
Okay, perfect. All right, so that is, one more time recap, people who want to participate or at least listen to the EPA meeting tomorrow, August 11th, 2015. The call-in number is 866-299-3188. The access code you need to listen in is 1433527160. That is August 11th. That's tomorrow, right, Gary?
Yes, I wanted to give a little bit more details about the hearing. It's going to be about the airplane emissions that they're going to be talking about. It's not just an EPA like other types of environment. This is going to be focusing on the airplane emissions, and I think it's a plus for us because they're actually probably thinking about the pollution, because it's causing, pollution, what the planes are doing is the emissions, I think it's mostly, the trails, that we're seeing in the sky. But maybe that's just the way the EPA talks about the problem, they call it emissions on their website.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, that's one of the problems that we've always kind of had with dealing with this issue is that the government is trying to take the position that these are just jet emissions, so they're trying to deal with a pollution issue, but what we're really dealing with are intentionally injected aerosols. I know, and I have no fear talking about it because I smell them and I taste them from the very day I first experienced them. As I sit here tonight, it's in the air. I can taste the metallic and the chemical smells as well as hundreds of people who've contacted me. But the EPA is probably going to be dealing with it as like some kind of pollution issue, airplane emissions. And this is all a cover. I don't want people to be disappointed when you listen in. I'll tell you what's going to happen. They're going to talk about persistent contrails. They're going to talk about that there's some pollutants in the contrails, and we want to deal with this. And I will tell you that this is all a cover. So prepare. We're going to have Max Bliss. We're going to have Amanda Williams. We're going to have Jim Lee, and they're going to talk about this, and hopefully, I'm sure, they're going to talk very frankly about this, but the EPA is going to approach this from a persistent contrail position, and this is all a cover. This is the kind of psychological operation. Yeah, okay, so there's only going to be a total of 30 minutes of actual talking from people, so 10 minutes apiece.
10 minutes.
Yeah, so this is just the typical kind of disinformation we're probably going to hear, so don't be disappointed when you are listening in tomorrow and they deal with all of this and handle this as persistent jet contrails, and they try to talk about it in terms of jet water emissions, which is a lie. What really is emitted by a high bypass turbofan is carbon soot, just like when kerosene's burned. Go ahead, Gary.
Oh, Russ.
Yes.
I wanted to inject one more thing. It is going to be on C-SPAN, so we'll be able to see, I guess, on C-SPAN. You seen C-SPAN before?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it'll be on C-SPAN, so we'll be able to see it. I guess they'll show the hearing. So I guess people could call in, just the thing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure people will be able to. Other people may call. Hopefully, people will be able to call in. Well, I'm not sure how they're going to do it because it's going to be a hearing. But at least if you watch C-SPAN, you'll be able to hear it. And on the chat, Dean is asking, will somebody? They're hoping somebody will record it, and I'm sure somebody will. So just make sure we get that recorded so people can check it out. And I'm sure if we get a recording, we can put it up too. All right, Gary. Any other news you want to share with us? Anything going on in Tampa? Anything about this meeting? What's on your mind?
Oh, I'm just excited about the meeting. Then, it's just an exciting day tomorrow because we'll have EPA meeting. Then we'll have Jane Wingington on. So it's just going to be an exciting day to be, to join.
Okay, what's going on with Dane? I know we're doing a radio show. If anybody doesn't know about this, Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Dane Wigington, myself, and Doug Diamond do a radio talk show on Geoengineering Watch Radio is what it's called. And you can go to if you want to get a link to that, go to Global Skywatch and look globalskywatch.com. Look down the homepage, and we have a link. We have a nice little picture for Geo Watch Radio, and you can check that out on Tuesday nights. That's Dane Wigington, myself, and Doug Diamond. So go ahead. What else is going on, Gary?
No, that's pretty much it. I want to let someone else speak.
Awesome. All right, Gary, thank you for letting us know about the EPA meeting. Anyone else wants to call in, go to globalskywatch.com/live. This is your show. We can talk about whatever you want within reason, and we can even get into the deeper esoteric subjects, why they're spraying, what goes through the minds of these people who are spraying. This is a subject I've researched and continue to research, and it gets more and more interesting the more you do. All right, thanks you, Gary. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate all your work down there in Tampa. I'll be down there one day I'll make a trip down there because I have family in that area, and I will make sure to meet up with you and your crew down there.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Russ, for all you do, too.
Hey, my pleasure. I appreciate having you people like you on the team, and I will see you when I get down there sometime. All right, excellent. Anyone else on the call who wants to speak up? The mic is yours. I see a bunch of people who'd like to talk. Don't be shy. Just speak up. Mic is yours.
Hey, Russ.
Hi there. Who's this?
This is Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Before.
Yeah. Hi, Kathy. How's it going?
Hey, pretty good. I spent the weekend at a summer camp reunion, a summer camp that I used to work at during all my formative years, and was subjected to watching all the trails above what I consider sacred ground, which really rather annoyed me. But I had an interesting conversation with one of the guys I used to work with. His son just graduated with a degree in chemistry, and he was doing his postdoctorate studies, his PhD, and he was going and downloading information for NOAA. And apparently the information he was downloading was information from planes that NOAA has been sending up to test for metals in the atmosphere.
Okay.
And so I have asked, this guy's his son's just a kid, and I don't want to get him in trouble, but I did ask him to contact his son and see if I can get copies of any of that information, or if I can get at least a link or a website to where this information might be posted. I just thought it was quite interesting that here's a watch group that is literally testing for these metals, and I don't believe we're being told this kind of thing.
Okay. Well, I think that, I was contacted this last week by somebody who wants to test the metals. I'd interviewed somebody called Matthias Hanke, who tested the metals a couple of years ago in Sweden, I believe he was. If you want to see that interview, look at the live stream right now. Go to Global Skywatch Radio, which is here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Global Skywatch Radio here. Go down here to the archive of previous shows, and search down for Matthias Hanke. You can do a page search for Hanke. In fact, I'll do that now. Control F does a page search, Hanke. It'll bring you right to him. And, oops. Okay, what happened here? Let me try this again. We're on the archive. I just love live radio here. Let me try it again. Oh, it's Hanke. There he is. It was on June 10th, 2013. There's a picture of him right there. And he actually did take air samples. I know a lot of the disinformationalists like to say, oh, where are the air samples? Why don't you just send somebody up? Well, a couple people have gone up already. One of them is here, and one was on last week's show. It was a surprise call-in person who gave us his testimony about how they detected aluminum in the air. So last week's show, I encourage people to listen to that, and also Mateus. What else is on your mind, Kathy?
Oh, I've been posting a lot about everybody sending in EPA reports. And I really want to encourage people to keep sending in EPA reports. Send in those complaints. Right now, it was really interesting. I was watching the national news, and that big gold mine spill that's happening, basically fouling the water in 3 or 4 states right now. There are a lot of private companies right now that do water testing. That they interviewed a guy. He's really upset with the EPA, and I kind of think that right now, if the EPA has been caught not doing what they're supposed to be doing, we might be able to ride the tails of that. I think they've been sitting down on the job with a lot of stuff, maybe government pressure, maybe not. But I think if enough people are upset with them, they might actually have to take action on things that are being complained about.
That would be, I think that's a good point, because public pressure, remember, public servants, and I say this to everyone, I say this on the Geoengineering Watch radio show on Tuesday nights a lot too, is that government serves who they fear. And if they fear the people, they will serve the people. But right now they fear the industrialists. Those are the ones that they serve. Those are the ones who are giving them the bribes, the big payments, the lobbying dollars, so on and so forth. So if we have enough pressure, we let them know that we're listening. They're scared to death of what the public will do. That's why they love drugging you. That's why they love making you feel apathetic. That's why they love fluoride. That's why they love mercury, because it makes you tired, makes you drained. It lowers your IQ. It lowers your ambition. It makes you apathetic. And that's the point. So be involved, because that's exactly what they don't want. And every time the public has risen up and gotten involved, they have been forced to back down. That is the power you have. Use it. Use it. Even if you do 5 minutes a day, that's all you need to do. If we had 10,000, 20, 30, 40,000 people doing that, we would be a force to be reckoned with. Kathy?
Well, with 36,000 plus on this website alone, we should be able to generate some kind of movement.
We should. You know, the sad thing is a lot of people don't do anything. And this is something we talk about on Tuesday nights as well, is that people don't get involved. People don't put in that 5 or 10 minutes a day. People are afraid to talk to their relatives, their friends, or their co-workers. Do not be afraid. They're trying through social pressure, using weathermen, using pseudo-news to apply social pressure to people to make you feel afraid or intimidated by calling you conspiracy theorist or by telling you that this isn't really happening, these are contrails. And the thing that is overwhelming to many people is that you have mainstream media, you have weathermen, you have the government, you have movies and shows all hitting you with the same disinformation at the same time. And I want to reveal something to everybody while we're talking here, Kathy. One of the biggest questions people have is, how could all of these organizations and all of mainstream media and all be saying the wrong thing at the same time? How could that be? How could they all be coordinated? Well, I'll answer that for you right now. Here's what I want you to do. Let me give you a website to go to. Let me give you a quick answer to the question, and then I'll show you what to share with your friends to answer that question if they care. And if they don't care, you need to be on them saying, why don't you care? The fact that you don't care is the problem. People who are apathetic is the problem. That is why this happened. Evil flourishes when good people do nothing. Here's the real solution. Here's the real answer to the question. Why? Because the way that the industrialists conquered the United States, and they've done this in every country, the way that they've done it is by first controlling government, first controlling media, I should say, then controlling government. When you control government, instead of trying to control all the currency by some other outside means, if you can control government, you can give your corporations the big, huge contracts. You can direct billions of dollars in huge, overinflated contracts to your company, and then you can use that money to continue to lobby those who you don't already have in your pocket, to continue to build your media empire, and it just becomes a positive feedback cycle. You make more money, you invest more money in control, the control mechanism grows, you make more money, and so forth. And you do this for government. So here's the answer. Do you know that the United States government owns controlling stock in virtually all large international corporations? And I'm talking about majority stock holdings. This is an astonishing statement. And this is perhaps one of the largest financial conspiracies in the history of mankind. And where can you find information about this? This was exposed by Clint Richardson in a video he made called The Corporation Nation. So what the industrialists did was brilliant. Rather than trying to build their own companies and make their own money that way, they first controlled media so they could control elections. Once they started getting their people in office, they directed streams of money to their corporations. The military contracts went to their corporations. We know Dick Cheney was a recipient. We know that the head of the TSA was a huge recipient. I mean, it's complete, blatant, in-your-face, open, documented conflict of interest, yet it went on and not enough people cared in the United States to make a difference. And that's the sad thing that's going on. So they direct these huge streams of income to their companies, and then they use the government. They continue to control that government, keep their politicians in their pocket, and then they buy controlling stock for the large corporations. Well, when you control stock in a corporation, you control that corporation head to toe. You will put your CEO in, you will put your directors in, you will control what that corporation does. So when you start owning media corporations, when you start owning advertising firms, they will start putting pictures of what they are saying condensation trails into their ads. You will start seeing them in children's television shows. You will see them produced by newspaper ad, print ad. And how are they doing that? Because the same industrialists who have gained control of media, then the government, now all of the large international corporations, through stock holdings through the U.S. government. Again, the Corporation Nation, it's free to watch on YouTube. Here's how you can watch it. Look on the live stream right now. I'm going to go to a website called Orbis Vitae. It's Orbis Vitae. It means circle. Orbis means circle. Vitae means life, so it means circle of life in Latin. Orbisvitae.com. Scroll all the way down to the section called Geopolitical Research and click on that. And then look at the top. It says Conspiracies, Introductions, and Overviews. Click on that. And look down through the list of pinned posts. And there's one here called The Corporation Nation right here. You should be seeing it on your screen right now. It's a little hard. I know it's a little fuzzy to see probably. But you click on The Corporation Nation, and there's a link that goes right to the video on that post. And here it is. In fact, I should play a little clip of this. This is astonishing. Take a listen.
The master of its own house.
Congress. The Comptroller General of the United States, the Director of the Government Accountability Office, or GAO, formerly known as the General Accounting Office, a legislative branch agency founded by Congress in 1921 to ensure the fiscal and...
Patrick Roddy is also going to be at the EPA conference tomorrow.
Oh, good. Patrick Roddy. Okay, that's excellent. He's excellent. He should be there. All right, people, so here you go. The Corporation Nation, please watch it. This is one of the mechanisms. You want to know how all of these corporations can be in cahoots, working together, producing chemtrails in print media, in television shows, in children's animated series like Over the Hedge. Where can you see this? Where can you see all this? Everywhere you look. Because they're all controlled by the same group of people by using your tax money to buy controlling stock. This was revealed through what was called the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, the CAFR. And this was also revealed in part by Walter Burian of Canada. Look him up, Walter Burian. And he exposed to the world the comprehensive annual financial reports that show these stock holdings and show that your government is filthy rich. And they keep crying, poor, poor, poor. If you can't find it, I see somebody online, go to YouTube and just do a search for The Corporation Nation, and you'll find the free video there. They offer it for free so people can know. So, Kathy, what else is on your mind?
Well, that's about it. I'm just really hoping that I get some of that evidence, from Noah, basically. Somebody that's supposed to be watching out for us. And I believe what they're doing is, they must be studying the effects of these things because it's huge. It's all branches of the government. So therefore, they must be doing their little research.
Yeah, well, a lot of people have asked me who's doing this. That's one of the most common questions I get when I'm introducing this subject to people. And the answer is pretty obvious, because who would have access to the airspace? And also, these jets don't have transponders. These are unmarked silver or white jets, 95 or 98% of the time, and they have no visible numbers, and they have no transponders. What does that tell us? This is obviously a military operation, and it's completely approved by the U.S. government, and this is going on in countries all over the world which are working together in unison, which is evidence for what I've been telling people for years, is that all these countries have been taken over decades ago by the same industrialist bankers. It's all controlled and coordinated. Even during the Cold War. During the Cold War, we were doing space flights together. We were doing cooperation with Russia. We were doing technological experiments together. And some people scratch their heads and say, oh, well, that must have slipped by or something. No, it didn't slip by. That was happening because the Cold War was just a way to make a boogeyman, just to make something scary for the general public, to justify these large military contracts which continued to feed the pockets of the industrialist bankers. That's how it works. You scare the public into needing a huge military so that you can pump huge streams of profits, billions of dollars, into your corporation's pockets. That's how the world works. All right, Kathy, thank you so much for bringing that up.
You have a great evening.
Okay, you too. Thank you for all the information, Kathy.
Uh-huh.
All right. Anyone else want to talk? If you are on the conference panel right now and your phone is muted and you want to talk, just press *6. And if you want the phone number to call in, it's globalskywatch.com/live. And
Hello?
you can get the number right there. Hello, who are we speaking with?
This is Catherine from Pennsylvania.
Hi, Catherine. How are you doing?
Good. I called last week as well. So I actually have a few messages for tonight, and I'll try to keep them quick. The first one is I'd like to encourage everyone to post the Global Skywatch website wherever they can. It's a wealth of information, and it doesn't take much effort to do so. You can post it everywhere that you can, email signature, bumper sticker, emails, Twitter, Facebook. I just want to thank you, Russ, for navigating the website a little bit and showing us the new features. It's very helpful. So I think you should take a minute to do that with every show, because I think that's very helpful to your viewers. So.
Oh, great. Absolutely. Yeah.
And another thing I can suggest is for people to print flyers. It's not very expensive to do so, and just leave them in public places, libraries, bus stops, etc. Whatever you can do, please do it. It doesn't take much time. It takes a little bit of creativity, and it goes a long way. We need to get the word out as much as we can. So this is such an urgent and important issue. So that's the way I'd like to start my conversation. But the next thing I'd like to say, this is my main message for today. I would like to have everyone realize how important this fight is against chemtrails. This is really a fight for the existence of life on this planet. We have a great responsibility as people who know about this to really get the word out and to really make sure that people know how important it is. And we really need to realize how great a responsibility we have also for the sake of creation. We need to realize that the animals and all of creation really depend upon us to tell the truth. They can't speak. We need to speak for them. The children on this planet, they don't know this. We need to speak up for them. It's their future that these people are destroying. This is so important, and I can't emphasize this enough. And I'm going to ask Russ once again to please point this out on Facebook, on Twitter. We have a grave responsibility to tell everyone we know and to do everything we can to literally fight for the existence of this planet. I mean, really, we need to understand how important this is. I can't emphasize it enough. We need to take responsibility, and we need to understand that we are responsible for what we know. Not just chemtrails, but any truth that we know, whether it's health-related, whether it's personal-related, in our families and friends. We need to speak up for the truth. We need to speak the truth. That is the only way to be a good and honorable person in this world, and it's so important. We need to be honorable. We need to be truthful. We need to be good to one another. That's the only way we're going to survive. So on that note, I'd like to come to my next subject, which is the coming difficulties. Russ mentioned the coming difficulties that are predicted before the end of this year. Again, we have such a great responsibility to really tell everyone we know, look, there are going to be difficulties coming upon us, and we need to tell everyone. It is our responsibility out of love. If we truly love our families and friends and everyone we know and the whole planet, we need to let everybody know that difficulties are coming and that they need to prepare. Whether it's food, whether it's water, whether it's shelter, we need to tell everyone, look, you need to prepare for this. There's not going to be a store that's open. You may not have electricity. Do not rely on luxuries anymore. You need to understand that things are going to change very drastically. And the reason is very simple. This planet is being destroyed. And soon we're not going to have food. I mean, maybe soon is going to be months from now. Maybe soon is going to be years from now. But it doesn't matter. The point is we need to be responsible as people of truth and do everything we can to protect ourselves from these people who don't know what they're doing, to protect ourselves and our families. I can't emphasize this enough. I mean, difficulties are going to come, and there's not going to be a doctor to run to. You're going to have your own medicine, and you're going to need to be your own doctor. There's not going to be a store to run to for groceries. People need to realize that there may not be electricity. You need to have your own, way to secure your necessities on your own, or make a network happen in your community right now. Have a network of people to defend yourselves, to help yourselves in times of, critical upheaval. It's going to happen, unfortunately, because these people who are doing this to us are not stopping their evil. And so we need to be awake and alert and understand this. So I want to point out on a personal note that I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and it was not easy for me to reveal to her what I know, but I actually started the conversation because I was trying to be gentle with her, and I started the conversation on a positive note, and I told her, I want to tell you this because I care about you, and I care about your family, and I want you to be well, and I want your family to be well, and your friends. And then I just proceeded to tell her that things are going to get difficult, and that she needs to prepare herself and her family for the difficulties. Fortunately, she took it very well. She was very awake. She knew some of the things I told her. I told her everything I knew, and I also pointed her to many websites and told her this is where you can find much more comprehensive information. Any questions you have, I'm more than happy to help you. I'm here to help you, and we're here to help each other. The biggest thing we can do is build a network with each other of love and camaraderie and respect. And that way we know that when we're in difficulties, we can rely upon each other. There's nothing more precious than trust. When we can trust somebody to help us in times of difficulties, it is priceless. So make sure we build that trust with people. If you're in difficulties, I'll help you, whether it's 9 o'clock at night or at 1 o'clock in the morning. Call me. I'll help you. I'll be there for you. I'll do whatever I can. So please, everyone, please understand how important all of this is. We need to stick in in there, and we need to have hope, and we need to be prepared. I can't emphasize that enough. We need to wake up. Luxuries must go. We need to shave our, luxuries off of our, lives and use that money to prepare. This is the time to do it before it gets too late. The final comment I'd like to make is one of hope. I always love hope because it's the most critical part in any situation in life in general. I would like to tell everyone to have hope about all of this chemtrail movement because it is working. It is definitely working. The truth is indestructible. It is indestructible. I can't emphasize that enough. The word is getting out. They are trying to hide the chemtrails, and chemtrails are now being discussed in the United Nations. I posted that on the chat room. I can post a lot more information in the next show about health and how to protect yourself. There's a lot more I can talk about, but I'm going to just end on that note, a note of hope. The word is getting out. We should not lose hope. We should just keep the pressure as high as we can and as much as we can while we have the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate all that. Is there anything, what area are you in, did you say?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah. Is there anything going on there that you know of? Are there activists doing anything that you have any knowledge about, or do we need some people there to get together and do something?
I would think it would be a great idea to get people together here. I personally have bumper stickers on my car about geoengineering, and so I'm advertising 24/7. And, I'm sure people are looking at this. I'm sure they're probably curious about it. I specifically have the bumper sticker that states globalskywatch.com before it's too late.
Let me show people on the stream right now. Let me show you where to get. If you're looking at the live stream, go to the Global Skywatch website, click on the GS Mall right here at the top, this link right here. And then over on the left side, click on the Global Skywatch store right here. And here's the bumper sticker she's talking about. Before it's too late. Go ahead, Catherine.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. So I'm doing what I can. I think everyone should do what they can. I also personally have, on every email that I send out, I have a signature with the globalskywatch.com. So please do everything you can, and just please talk to your friends and family. And even if you get bad behavior, it's okay. Just tell them, look, you need to know this. I've done my responsibility to let you know, because when everything goes wrong, then you remember my words, that they weren't just conspiracies, they weren't lies. I was telling you the truth out of love. And don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until it all hits and then you're not prepared, and then, you can call me crazy all you want, but if you choose not to be responsible, then you're going to have to pay for it, and we're going to have to pay for your irresponsibility, because we need you in this movement. We need you to support us. We need you. We need you. We all need each other to help each other and to support each other in this, to survive. It's going to be a matter of survival. And I want to also mention, it's not only physical survival, it's also emotional survival and spiritual survival. We need to support each other with hope and messages of hope. We can't dwell on the negative. That only destroys us. We need to pitch in together and just reinforce our, just like pep rallies, we need to go out there and fight these evil people who are doing this to us and who are trying to discourage us and poison us every day. And so they want us to be sickly and, not able to act out. We need to act against this. This is a crime. It is absolutely a crime.
Yeah, absolutely.
My messages of hope, and I want people to always never forget that there is always hope, because truth ultimately is indestructible. The lie cannot stand and never will stand. And over history itself actually shows and proves to us that the lie never stands.
That's true. I would back you up on that, and I want to tell you that in studying the industrialists' own literature based on their own beliefs, I will tell you this, and I love talking about this information because it really reveals what's going on in their heads, which helps everybody to understand the world today. But they know that they have tried to have global coups in the past, and they believe that this time it's going to work because of their technology. This is right from their own literature. This time it's going to work. This time it's going to be a success because they have all this technology behind them. And if it were not perhaps for divine intervention, they might be right, because now this is what all the monitoring is for. Like, for instance, you have your phone conversations being monitored. Your cell phone microphone can be turned on remotely, even if the power is turned off. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is from mainstream media. Everybody knows this. The only way you have privacy with your cell phone is by taking your battery out, and there's some evidence that the new cell phones can even have their own secondary battery that you don't have access to. I haven't confirmed that. However, they can be turned on. The microphones can be turned on remotely, and your conversations can be listened to through your cell phone by the government. And this is widely known. This is not a secret. This is not a conspiracy. Why all of this monitoring? Because they have to know who is against them. They don't want to lose their power. This is all about power. This is all about securing their positions of power. And that kind of mentality is ultimately based in fear. And that's a whole other discussion we can have.
And it's also communist mentality. I'm familiar with the communist mentality because I know people who have lived in communist countries, and there's so much fear in communist countries. You cannot speak against the government. They know everything you're doing and everything you're saying, and God forbid you say anything against the government, they literally come to your door and take you into prison. I mean, I know that from these people. I know, I've actually read books on what happened to people in prison, and it's horrifying. So this is what this country is leading to. And again, I don't want to dwell on the negative, but the truth is that that's why we need to speak up. That's the more urgent, message that I have, because we need to speak up. We need to tell these people we're not going to allow this. We want to be free.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I heard in Leningrad, when Leningrad was taken over, up to a quarter, 25% of the population over time went missing. And the way the mentality worked is that you might get together with your friends, once a week and have a little play cards or get together, and Bob and Sarah, the people up the street, don't show up. They're not at their homes anymore. They're just gone, and nobody asks questions. And that's what you live like when you live under a tyranny. That's why all of the programs, all of the programming, all of the mentality in government and in media tries to push the population towards a socialistic, communistic viewpoint. Thoughts? Yeah. Thoughts on that, Catherine?
Yes. Unfortunately, I can, only say that we don't want it. And we need to, again, I want to dwell on the positive. I'm striving not to dwell on the negative. We know what they're up to. We know what they're trying to do to us. The point is to speak up and to do everything that we can. And actually, I just want to point out that I'm glad you're posting this video about everything that people are doing to stop chemtrails. That's wonderful. That just gives people ideas what they can do. So I always want to concentrate on the positive, on hope, because that's what builds us up mentally and emotionally, builds us up to do the job that we need to do. And we have a job here. We have a responsibility to protect the life on this planet. It's a great responsibility. Please take it seriously and understand you need to discuss this with your friends and family. No matter how difficult, be gentle, but be firm in the truth, because you're on the side of the truth, and you don't want to back down ever, because the truth is indestructible. Don't back down. These people are wrong. They're evil, and they know what they're doing is evil. They know that. And we need to tell them. We need to convict them of their evil. We need to tell them, you are evil to do this to the whole planet. You're not doing this just to human beings. You're doing this to the entire planet. The animals are suffering at your hand. The fish are dying by the millions at your hand. The animals are dying. I mean, I think recently Russ talked about someone who had a farm. Her animals were dying. Her trees are dying. I mean, this is happening before us. So we need to speak up. We need to be hopeful that truth will win. And it does win every day, even though it's not apparently immediately. It is winning every day. And we need to be on the side of the truth, because we know we will win. We will be winners. And so I always want to emphasize the hope, because it's something, again, that gives us courage and strength for this movement. and for anything in our lives. I think this is a great practice for anything that we're fighting in our lives personally, any difficulties. If you have any difficulties, the only way to approach difficulties is to build each other up in your families. Instead of having arguments, forgive each other, build yourself up, build the other person up with positive comments, hopeful comments, and make peace. And then you can unite, and in the unity you have strength. That is the only way. That is the only way. So this is a great lesson for all of us, not only on a public level, but on a personal level. So this is a great cause, greater than us. We need to understand how important this is. We are defending the life of this planet. Please remember that. Thank you.
That's a very good point, Catherine. Thank you for bringing that up. And I want to, you remind me of something, too, I want to show people. Please use the Global Skywatch website. We provide this for free. This is all volunteer, nonprofit. It's all there with resources to help you expose this issue. Right at the very top center under activism, there's a link here that you can see on your screen that says how to get involved, and there's lots of great ideas right there for getting involved. And also what Catherine just made reference to is over here there's a link, Personal Chemtrail Stories. And under here on this page, let me zoom in a little bit, there's a section and a whole list of people who submitted their stories. If you'd like your story included here, just email it to me, Russ at globalskywatch.com. And I have my story at the top. We have Mark from Utah. Sadly, Mark passed away about a year and a half ago or so. Mark was a weekly caller, very good help, very passionate man. Had a sudden unexpected heart attack, which barium is known to do. I had a heart attack myself in 2011. The only problem with me was very low potassium, which is induced by barium poisoning. Helen from Georgia has suffered losses on her horse farm. Animals and plants dying, North Florida, Sue Ellen. Former multi-engine pilot, never saw chemtrails before, Celeste, Montana. Dan McGuire, chemtrails are killing. This is a great resource to see what's going on with people's personal experiences. So please visit the Global Skywatch website and check out the list of personal chemtrail stories. Well, thank you, Catherine. Is there anything else in your mind you'd like to say tonight?
Again, just a message of hope. That's always one I want to emphasize because, you know, it's easy to think negatively about this, obviously, but it's very important for us to think positively and to unite and to be reinforcing of the fact that we are winners. All the time we are winning because we are on the side of truth. And truth, like I said, and I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm repeating myself on purpose because I think this is so important. Truth is indestructible. We are on the side of truth. We are on the side of life. We can't lose. There's no way that we can lose. These people are the losers. They're destroying life. They're destroying their own families. Do they realize that they're destroying their own families? Do they realize that they're doing harm to their own generations? Maybe they're going to hide in the ground and they have underground cities, whatever they do. They're not going to be able to escape this. Nobody will. And I'm a Christian, like I said last week, and I believe that there's a God. And so nobody escapes who's on the side of the lie. Nobody can escape because God is a God of truth, and I believe in a God of truth, a loving God who's merciful and who cares about his creation. So he's definitely going to come and defend his creation soon enough. So please have hope, people. We're all in this together. We need to support each other. We need to reinforce each other with positive messages and forgive each other our differences. We're all different. It's a beautiful truth that we're all different because we're all the same. It would be very boring. So let's respect our differences and let's love one another in spite of our differences and make peace with one another so that we can unite and fight for a great cause like this and let the truth be known. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate that. We got to talk about health. There's so many things we can talk about. A lot of people want to get into people have asked me about restarting the show and getting into the depths of the minds of those who are doing this. Why are they doing it? What goes through their minds? What do they believe? What can we learn and how can we benefit from that, from understanding what's really going through their minds? There's also the health aspect. Catherine mentioned that too. Boy, I'd love for you to stick around. We need to talk about health. But again, this is an open mic meeting. We're going to get into those subjects either tonight or in the future episodes of this meeting, but it's really up to you. So any announcements or anything that anybody wants to make? Catherine, if you do stick around, maybe we'll get into health in a couple minutes. But I'd like to offer anyone, thank you for all that, Catherine. I appreciate that. And for anyone else who'd like to speak up who's on the caller console, your mic is live, so just speak into your phone and say hi, and let's talk to you. It's all yours. Anybody? Don't be shy. If you're listening, you don't have to talk, but if you want to speak up, it's totally up to you. We'd love to hear from you, your thoughts, your experiences. Anybody going through health difficulties, want to share how they overcame problems or what problems they're having or what they're seeing in their area. If you have an event coming up, as we get more and more people listening, we're going to gain momentum with this program once again, and we're going to have more and more people listening in. We're already gaining momentum, and we will make announcements at the top of every show. So if you're experiencing something or you want to just report what you're seeing in your area, if there's an event in your area, or if you'd like to have an event in your area, then speak up, call in, go to globalskywatch.com/live. Get the call-in number. There's local numbers for about 20 different countries. And call in and announce your event. Free exposure here. This is part of what we're here for. So if anybody wants to speak up, now is the time. Anybody on the call-in console like to speak now? Go ahead. Anybody? Going once. All right. Well, this is your show. If you're listening only, that's cool. That's fine. I've got a suggestion to repeat.
I can speak, but I don't want to take over.
Well, anybody, while Catherine's speaking, if anybody else wants to speak, just speak up, say hi. We'd love to hear from you. The call-in number, I'm going to mention that again.
Hi.
Hey, who's there? Who's talking to us?
This is Gary.
Hey, Gary, what's on your mind?
Oh, I wanted to bring up what you were saying, I think was it 2 weeks ago, or the very first show about the telemarketing thing.
Yeah, go ahead. That was a really great idea. Go ahead.
Yeah. When we were talking, you were saying if someone knows about how to do the telemarketing, we need also a script writer who can write the script too, and it's got to be like a script that could entice the person to want to listen to the rest of the message when we do the automated geoengineering message, about what geoengineering is and how to stop it and how to go, to some websites that we can probably, like announcing that script.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's talk about that. This was a great idea that Gary had. I think this would be fantastic, but we need a team of people to do this. It's not a huge time commitment, especially if we can have a team of 5 or 10 people all doing a little bit. It could go very well. But the idea was to have a PC computer making phone calls out to the public just like telemarketers do. You can do this with a PC. Their PCs are so powerful today. You can do this with a PC and a phone line by assembling a database, buying the software you need, and that personal computer can sit there and make phone calls during the hours that you would want to call, keep track of who answered, how long they were on the phone, all of that stuff, but tell people about geoengineering. And I know people don't like telemarketers, but this would be a different kind of message. This would be something where you could make it very, very appealing to people and say, we're calling you for your own good. Have you seen those lines in the sky? Do you know what those are? We want you to be informed. And give a very quick, concise message with maybe a couple websites they can go to or a video where they can learn more about it. This was the idea, but we do need a team of people. We need to put this project together. So if you're interested in, if you're good with computers, good with database management, if you're interested in researching software that would do this or do the logistics to get a phone line and put this in somebody's house, then please feel free to contact me at russ@globalskywatch.com, and we'll do something. Gary, your thoughts?
Well, that message you gave me, I did email it, or I posted it on like forums, and not forums, places like where you advertise for what do you call that? I'm lost of word here. It was the
script.
remember the not Facebook, but let's be getting late. You know where that one I was posting about the geoengineering on Craigslist.
Oh, yeah, you were also putting ads on Craigslist to get people to learn about geoengineering. Great idea. I mean, people are coming across these ads on Craigslist, and they're getting a surprise education. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I also went to other classified places, and I posted that, your little message you sent me, via email.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. It explained the whole thing. I mean, you came up with the good punchline there with a lot of information about getting people who knows about technical stuff about the phone, and especially we do need someone to find out about all the do not call list numbers so we can scratch out the numbers. So we'll need to update that.
Right, absolutely. We would need someone to manage the data. Like, we'd have to purchase a call database. We'd have to have access to the do not call list so we don't call people who are on the do not call list. We'd have to set up a phone line that's approved for making telemarketing outgoing phone calls, which is going to have a cost associated with it. So we'd have to do a fundraiser, probably raise a few $1,000s or more, and then have a team of maybe 5, 7, 8 people that all take care of one aspect of this. And with that, nobody would be overloaded. Everybody would have a little light workload. Getting a computer together. I mean, computers are a dime a dozen today. You can buy very powerful computers for virtually nothing. I build all my own computers. We can get a broken one and fix it, whatever. I'll be happy to help with that. But I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't do this, and we could reach tens of thousands of people by phone. And just let the PC do the work and only have some nominal costs, I think. There'd be some costs involved, but I'm sure we could cover it. And this might be even as powerful or more powerful than a billboard program,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What's your other thoughts, Gary? Go ahead. Anything you want to say?
Well, at the end of the year, I know there's supposed to be a government panel talking about climate change. So, I don't know. I hear when I went to the protest, I noticed a person showed up at the protest with me at the Orlando protest in Orlando. They had mentioned the reason why they came because they may be trying to make some kind of law or make geoengineering legal, but not say the word geoengineering. They'll say climate change. That's why I've been really working Monday through Friday, really trying to contact all whoever I can about the the EPA. I know they're all government, so we can't really get any help from them. Now, and I told them, I said, well, can I use that EPA money and go and do my own testing? They said, well, they don't know if they can. They could probably try to allow something like that. If I'm not letting them know they're not doing their job, then our taxes are paying them. I guess we should just give them the boot and just fire them.
Yeah.
We talked about it on Facebook. Why do we have an EPA if they're not doing the job? And it's across America. It's not just.
Well, this is a very good point because I actually contacted the state of Maine Bureau of Air Quality, and I talked to the head, 2 different heads over a period of time of the Bureau of Maine, and basically I told them about this. I gave them all the information. I gave them video. I gave them tests. I gave them everything that they would need to make a good case that this was happening and there was a very serious contamination problem. And their response to me was overtly, we don't have funding to pursue this type of thing. You have to do the testing and provide us with information. I'm like, well, I already did some testing. Look at the rainwater contamination. We have testing all over the place. People can smell and taste this. And they're like, well, we just can't accept that. We need tests to be done. And the bottom line is it just came down to a way to squirm out of it because they don't want to deal with it. And that's what it really came down to. So the question is, what are you there for? Your mission statement says that you, Bureau of Air Quality for the state of Maine and all the rest of the states of the United States and other countries, are to protect the public from known sources of contamination, toxicity and contamination in the environment. Well, there is no larger source of contamination. We have evidence, we have visual evidence, we have lab tests. If you aren't willing to accept this and do the testing or even accept the test from us, then what do you do? What is the point of your organization if you're not doing what your mission statement says you're supposed to be doing? And I'm not trying to be a nitpicky consumer who's just a pain and wants you to do things that are unreasonable. I provided a lot of evidence, a lot of information. I had dialogue with them on a few different occasions that was very professional, very concise, very complete, however, in the information I provided. And their response is, well, you know, we don't have the money to pursue this, and we don't have the funds to pursue this, and you have to provide testing, and even then there's no guarantee that we'll do anything. It's like, so what do you do with all your money? What are you doing with it? Does that make sense?
Then when I call the EPA in Florida, they're supposed to be the department, EP, but they're still, you know, environment protection. They said, well, we're not the federal environment protection, we're just the state. So that's why they always, every time I say, well, you're the EPA, you're supposed to do something about this. So the guy goes, well, when I asked him, I said,
let me guess, he said it's the FAA, right? Or something like that?
Oh, no, the EPA.
Well, I've heard people go to the EPA and then they say, well, that's not our venue, you have to go to the FAA and find out from them, and the FAA says, no, go to the EPA, and the EPA then says, go to your state, local governments, and then they just send you on an endless circle. But what happened with you? Go ahead.
They did that to me. They did that to me.
Yeah.
So with the EPA, when I asked the EPA in Florida, I asked them, have you ever went up there? Because when I tell him, I'm talking about the lines in the sky, I watch that spread out, I watch it affect the weather. And I said to them, I know that something's in it because it's affecting the weather. And the guy goes, well, you're talking about contrails. So I asked him, well, have you tested that line in the sky? And he goes, we've done testing and we found nothing in that testing. He was saying, like, if he went up to the aircraft and took a sample from the air, because that's what I was asking. Have you went up, you know, to sample that trail? He was saying, we've done tests and we found nothing, you know, no evidence that there's anything going on in the sky.
Isn't it interesting?
I recorded it.
Isn't it interesting that they say that they test things and find nothing, but the people who I know who have done testing all found something? This is the way that it always works. Well,
I did tell him that.
Yeah.
And I did record him. I was recording him. I told him that I do monitor my calls, and I told him I recorded him. I actually uploaded that recording.
Okay. Wow.
There was another recording I had uploaded.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's the way it goes. I know that Madison Star Moon has put up a lot of conversations that she's had with public officials as well. I encourage people to listen to that. And one EPA receptionist or someone who was on the line said she was aware of it and she started getting angry about it. You know, she's aware of this is going on, and this is, I can't remember how she worded it, but it was offensive and so on. And I was like, wow, there we go. There's somebody who's interested and angry about it, as they should be. You know,
angst. Angst. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, well, listen, I want to get back to Catherine. She has something she wanted to share with Chris on a subject on a chat room. Any final thoughts there, Gary?
Oh no, I'll listen in.
Okay, good. Thank you for sharing all that with you. I'm glad you called in. I hope you're with us every week here. Again, this is an open mic meeting. We talk about what you want to talk about, and we share information and announcements at the beginning of this program so you can have them. Listen to the EPA hearing tomorrow. Thank you for putting this up there, Randy. 866-299-3188 is the number to call into the EPA hearing on August 11th, 2015. That is 866-299-3188, and the passcode for that is 1433-527160. Okay, one more time, I'll give that to you. 866 is the number, 299-3188, and the passcode is 143-352-7160. Okay, Catherine, are you still on?
Yes.
Okay, you were
Can
in
you
the
hear
chat room. Yep, you're coming through loud and clear. You wanted to share something with somebody in the chat room?
Yes. I saw the question posted by Chris. And Chris, thank you for posting that question. That's a wonderful question. It's a great question. And I'm glad that you want to know because, it is, first of all, I want to state that the chemtrail operation is extremely expensive. To manufacture the chemicals that they do in the laboratory and from altering the airplanes to do what they do to employing thousands upon thousands of pilots to do this. This has to be an extremely expensive operation, and it absolutely is. So that's the first thing I'd like to state. Where does this money come from? The money comes from a variety of resources. So the first thing is money laundering. I personally know that, and everybody knows, that there's a money laundering problem in this world, and the banks know this, and the banks are guilty of this, even though they put up a front of sanctioning it. They know full well what money laundering is going on. And unfortunately, some of it they sanction and some of it they just let go. And that's one source, I believe, of this money. There's also a lot of money coming from black operations. These are all operated by the elite. Basically,
Can I jump in? Can I inject something there, Catherine, real quick?
Yes, please. Anytime, Russ. Please.
For those who are interested about the money laundering situation, please go to our Orbis. This is our sister website. Global Skywatch covers geoengineering/chemtrails, and Orbis Vitae, that's Circle of Life in Latin, orbisvitae.com covers everything else. Go to orbisvitae.com, and once you're in orbisvitae.com, look for this Media Depot right here. Click in the Media Depot, and this is a huge resource with thousands of videos and articles. In this top bar are top articles. Scroll across until you see a video called The Clinton Chronicles. If you have not seen this video and you want, this video is not some, I can't even have words. This is a classic video that made such a smash when it first came out that there was a mainstream debunking campaign to try to debunk this video. You've got to see the Clinton Chronicles. It talks about these are IRS agents, these are sheriffs, these are auditors, these are professionals in government that did an investigation, uncovered all of this drug money being brought into Mena, Arkansas, and how they were laundering the money. They uncovered this whole thing, and it was all covered up right in front of your faces. And in fact, Larry Nichols, I believe it was, went on Sally Jesse Raphael. You might know who she was if you've been around a while. She had a talk show. That talk show wasn't even aired. They didn't air it. They filmed it, but they didn't air it. This video is incredible. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, Catherine, but go to orbisvitae.com and look for the Clinton Chronicles, or go on YouTube and just search it out. Amazing, and it gets into detail about an official investigation about cocaine trafficking and importation by the bucket loads and planefuls being dumped in Mena, Arkansas, and distributed throughout the United States. Amazing, amazing video. Go ahead, Catherine.
Yeah, so basically the black operations work very much like this. They're corporations that, among other corporations, that manufacture military equipment. And what they do is they literally have these block operations that are basically CIA tagged, and nobody knows about them, and nobody's supposed to know about them. So basically you work toward, let's say, a project, and you have no idea what the project is because it's CIA related. And so whenever the CIA tag comes on it, nobody knows. That's another way. The other way is for manufactured products to have their prices exceedingly priced so that the profit, the funds that come from the profit of these manufactured products are used for these black operations. Again, that's another source.
Yeah, this happens a lot in military where everybody's heard about spending $10,000 for a hammer. Well, the hammer is purchased, and then the $9,995 goes for the black op. The $5 buys the hammer, and then the rest of the money goes to black operations. And also, many people don't realize that over 50% of the United States budget is secret. It's secret military budget. Yes. There's no accountability for this whatsoever.
Yes, and there's no accountability. And please realize, everyone, that the banks are controlled by the elite. So, they have to put up a front that they're righteous and they sanction the bad people and they sanction this. But underneath, there's so much corruption, and unfortunately, that's the truth. I believe the biggest funding, though, comes from drugs and human trafficking, and there's a lot of that in this world, unfortunately, behind the scenes. The banks know about this. Unfortunately, they're very much up on this because they're regulated. Basically the front is that there's so much regulation on this, but the banks are in the know about this because they see this, they witness this because they have to process the transactions. So there are so many fake organizations out there that process these huge transactions all over the world, and the bank has to go after them. Where is this money coming from? This huge amounts of cash, and it's all from drugs and human trafficking. So unfortunately, the very addictions of people in this world who are on drugs are funding this, plus the human trafficking, prostitution, etc. It's terrible. It's a terrible truth, but that's what's going on. The other question was, how is it distributed? How is it created? How are all these chemicals created? Well, unfortunately, they have the money to actually create underground, scientific equipment and so on to hide and they actually do this on remote islands. I mean, you name it. I mean, they'll do whatever they need to do to manufacture this poison, and they're very clever, obviously. And they try to hide all their criminal activities, obviously, and they don't. Even like Megan said, all these were chemicals that shouldn't have been there. Where are they coming from? Where are they going? Why are they going to this jet? Totally not responsible. They just absolutely. There's no accountability whatsoever. And if anyone says anything, they are threatened to die, and their families to die. And so this is their criminal activity. So if you want to add to that, Russ, please do.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And we're talking about the way that the world really works. And I'd like to share a video clip with you all. This comes from a video called The Mark of Cain, and this is actually on the Orbis Vitae website. I'm going to play this clip right now. This gives you a little look into how this really works. So let me zoom in on this video and play this for you. Please listen carefully what's spoken, and I want to make sure the video is coming through. We tried to. This new audio system is supposed to feed this video through, so I'm going to check and make sure it's going through. I'm not sure it'll be heard on the phone, but it will be on the live stream. So please go to the live stream if you want to see this video clip. This, again, go to the Orbis Vitae website, and you can find this video there. Let me see if this will play. Here we go.
I'm Greg Hunter. Welcome to USAWatchdog.com. With us today, a brand new guest. Her name is Karen Hudis. She is an attorney, she is a banker, and she is a whistleblower. Karen Hudis, thank you so much for joining us today from Maryland. Thank you so much. Well, you worked for the World Bank for a better part of 20 years. You are an Ivy League trained attorney. You went to Ivy League school. I think you went to Yale. You worked for the World Bank as a lawyer, you're a banker, and you were a whistleblower inside the World Bank, not just one time, but several times, at crescendo with a big, almost $1 billion, whistleblowing fraud, malfeasance in the World Bank in Indonesia, and for that, you got a pink slip in 2009.
Getting back to the Federal Reserve and the Bank for International Settlements, these groups are in cahoots with the biggest crooks of all, the Jesuits that bought up Bank of America, and they have little secret deals to try to apportion the riches of the world. And in the meantime, all of the countries of the world know that this thievery is going on. We are talking about the biggest thuggery of all, and that is the Jesuits in the Vatican. let me tell you what I just found out. I always thought that the CIA was the problem and the other intelligence agencies. Guess what? There's a grand intelligence agency that the Vatican puts out, and all of those other crooks are operating under the Vatican intelligence agency. That's what's going on.
The money is about the control, and the Vatican Intelligence Agency, the World Intelligence Agency, they're talking about we're fighting over money, over what money we're going to use.
Well, that's the thing I'm saying, Greg. They're not fighting. They've all agreed. The fighting is what we're led to believe. They're all in cahoots. Just like all the banks are in cahoots, all of these intelligence agencies are in cahoots, too. For example, people don't know that their IRS revenue is going to the Vatican.
Okay, there's an interesting clip I want to share with you. This is one of the most powerful and fascinating videos I've ever found. You can find this on YouTube. It's called The Mark of Cain, and it actually gets into the spiritual, psychological side of these people, what they believe, why they believe what they believe, and how they rule the world. And I want to show you how you can find that really quickly. This gets into chemtrails as well, because this is all tied together. Go to the Orbis Vitae website. That's O-R-B-I-S, Orbis, kind of like orbit, Latin for orbit. Orbis Vitae, V-I-T-A-E.com. And then click on the Media Depot link, which is right here. Click on the Media Depot link, and then scroll down to our geopolitical research section, which is right here. And let me zoom in a little so you can see this better. And the very first subform there is called Conspiracies, Introductions and Overviews. Click on that, scroll down through the list, and you will see right here, The Mark of Cain. Click on that, and here's the video right here. This is one of the very best videos that I ever found that will put the pieces together for you so you understand who these people are and why they do what they do. And this will be a tremendous help for you being prepared in the future difficult times that are coming. Catherine, thank you for all the information you shared. I found also in 2000 there was a funding budget, and I wish I remember the details for it. I should have logged this, but I don't know where I put it. But it actually allocated $995 million for what the federal government called aircraft services, and I don't know what that means. And the very next year it rose over to $1 billion, and then it went up to about $1.2 billion. That's a lot of money. And I've always wondered, what is that $1 billion+ going for? Any other thoughts, Catherine?
Yes, one last thought. They use this very same money to cover up their criminal activities by stating lies such as vaccines or GMOs don't hurt anyone. Obviously, their intention is population control, from vaccines to chemtrails to GMOs. And the documented facts prove otherwise, that obviously vaccines have been manufactured to cause autism, for example. And GMOs obviously cause cancer in rats, so why wouldn't it cause cancer in humans? I mean, they're just lying, and it's clear that they're lying. But my point was that they're using the same money to cover up their criminal activities, just like the pharmaceutical companies are doing. And
I want to back up what you're saying about vaccines. When I was mercury toxic from my amalgam fillings, a lot of you have heard me say this before, but I had racing thoughts. I couldn't sleep at night. I had anxiety. I could not focus. I was hyperactive. And when my mercury was removed, it all went away. When they started spraying 4.5 years later, this was in 2000. If anybody wants to see my mercury story, go to herballure.com or just go to russtanner.com. Go to my website, russtanner.com, and I've got my mercury story linked to from there. When my mercury was removed, 17 physical symptoms went away, feelings of daily depression went away, anxiety went away, hyperactivity went away, inability to concentrate, my reading comprehension improved dramatically, my memory improved dramatically. It changed my life. I felt like Superman. I would go to sleep. It still used to take me 2 hours to get to sleep every night. Went to sleep in 5 minutes. And that continued from 2000 until 2005 when we started experiencing the spraying, and immediately my health started going down. And guess what we started finding in dust tests and water tests now and soil tests? Mercury everywhere, all over the place, and I started having the same symptoms come back. And that's another thing I'd like to share with everybody is I have an article on the Orbis Vitae website. Go to Orbis Vitae, go to the Media Depot right here, scroll down to the chemtrails section right here, and then go to the list of videos here and scroll down just a little, and there's an article called Do Chemtrails Contain Mercury? And you may be shocked at what you find that we are finding in water tests, dust tests, and soil tests, mercury that should not be there. Mainstream media is trying to blame this on coal-burning power plants. I have strong evidence that it is not coming from those power plants from multiple sources, and the article contains information and a great video here, a couple of great videos here that will help fill you in. So please check that out. Do chemtrails contain mercury? Or you can just see the link above. If you can read that, I'll zoom in on it. Catherine, anything else?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that this is evidence on the ground. When people say, I don't believe in chemtrails, they can't deny this fact. You can't deny that there isn't this poison in the soil and in the water, unless you want to turn the other way, of course. I mean, it's just the same thing with health. If people say, well, I want to eat potato chips the rest of my life, I don't care about my health. I don't care what it's going to do to me, that it's going to harden my arteries. It's just ignorance. It's just willful ignorance. So when people tell us we don't believe in chemtrails, there's nothing not to believe in. I mean, the evidence is in your face. It's in the ground, in the water. I mean, how can you not believe? I mean, this is not something you believe or don't believe. The evidence is right in front of you. Yeah. And so, just like with health, for example, there are books documenting what works and what doesn't for health. It's obvious. After studying these documented facts, it's obvious what the best diet is. And people don't want to listen because they like their food the way they like it, and they're used to their comfort food. And unfortunately, it's very hard for them to change. But we have to change. If we want to survive, now is the time to change. And my last note is, please share this information. Don't let it go just as far as you. It's important to share this information with everyone you know. And again, I want to point to the website that Russ has. There's such a great wealth of information there, and there's so much to see. And that's why, again, I want to emphasize, Russ, that it would be greatly helpful if you do this every week where you navigate some part of the website and just introduce people to different parts of the website, because there is a lot of information, and it can be overwhelming to the newcomer. They can pick and choose on which ones they find more interesting, but if you introduce every week, I think that will be very helpful.
Absolutely. I would absolutely love to do that. Please
share, everyone. Share this information. Don't let it just go as far as you. We need to get the word out. We need to wake people up. These people know what they're doing. This is a conspiracy among them. They are in cahoots, just like that lady said. Please realize that. So if we understand that, then we have responsibility to be united, too, in the truth.
Yeah.
So that's my point. Please share this information, and please unite together and be positive and reinforce the positive aspect of all of this, that the truth is on our side, and we have the power to unite and to put these people where they need to be and to stop them from doing what they're doing. Poisoning our planet is what they're doing. So we have a great responsibility on our hands.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Catherine. And I'd like to show you where Catherine, she was talking about testing. Here's the Global Skywatch website. Let's navigate, just like she was saying, to a part of the website. Over here under Reference, we have View and Post Test Results. We put this up early on because we realized how important it was that people can post test results. So click on that link, and it will bring you right directly to the water, rain, blood, and dust tests section. And we have literally hundreds of tests from all over the world here showing elevated barium, aluminum, strontium, and in many cases lead, cadmium, all kinds of exotic metals that are elevated all over the place. Some of the tests even have elevated mercury. My own dust test had 0.03 micrograms of mercury in the dust test. My water test here near Bangor, Maine had 600 micrograms per liter of aluminum, which is 5 times higher than the amount the EPA allows in drinking water. And the tests in California and some other places are orders of magnitude higher than that. Orders of magnitude. This is evidence, like Catherine said, on the ground that we are seeing. So thank you so much for all your input, Catherine. I really very much appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All right. Anybody else who... Thank you very much. And thank you for everybody who spoke tonight. I want to make one last call for anybody in the call console. If you would like to speak up, now's your chance. And then we're going to close the meeting for tonight. And we're going to be talking in the future. We're going to be getting into some of the more esoteric things. People are really requesting. They want to know what's in the heads of these people. What symbols are they using? Why are they doing what they're doing? What do they believe? What are their spiritual beliefs? Because they have some very exotic spiritual beliefs that drive them. And it is absolutely stunning. And it really is stunning. I mean, when I started researching this many years ago, the direction of my life changed and the world began to make sense. Because now, when you know how it works, you're not surprised anymore. You're not surprised. You're just waiting for the next thing to happen. You may not know the timeline, but you do know the basic order of events. So when the spraying started, I actually was anticipating something. I didn't know exactly how they would manifest it, but when the spraying began, I was like, aha, okay, that's how they were planning on doing it. And that all comes from the research. And I want to share that with you because I don't want to... I don't want that information to not be available. Anybody else in the call-in console, here's your last chance to talk tonight. Please speak up. Your mic is already live, so just speak up if you'd like to talk. Love to chat with you, or if you have anything you want to share. So go ahead if you're there. Anybody? All right. I think we're good for the night. I think everybody who wanted to speak had their chance. I always feel sorrow at the idea that the world doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. If people were willing to just take a couple hours a week and educate themselves, that would make them change certain habits in their life that would ultimately lead to a world where we didn't have the problems we had. But people don't become educated about things unless they care about them. And I have a saying that I've had for years that says people become knowledgeable about the things they care about. So if you're someone who knows who won the game last week, and you're the one who knows how cars work, and you're one who knows about this, that, and the other thing, the things that you know about are the things you care about. The problem is people forgot that if you do not keep your government accountable, your quality of life will diminish. And like frogs in boiling water, our quality of life has diminished over time. Our freedoms have declined. And the forefathers, not only of this country, but others hundreds of years ago, told us that this would happen if we were not diligent to watch and keep the fire under the feet of those whom we pay to provide a few basic services for the public good. So here we are in a conundrum unlike anything in history, because people simply don't care. And that is a moral issue. That's why a lot of people go around saying education is the key. Well, education is part of the process, but it's not the key. The lack of education is the symptom of a deeper problem. And that deeper problem is a moral problem. And that moral problem is that you do not care. We're going to get in, next week we're going to start getting into some very interesting, deeper subjects, getting into the heads of those who are doing this. This is information that's not covered anywhere else, and this is why I'm very convicted inside myself to start getting into this stuff that I have researched and I have uncovered myself. Of course, I'm just standing on the shoulders of giants, so I don't mean to take credit for this, but I'm just standing on the shoulders of work that has already been done. And I want this to be known among those who are fighting this fight, because as you learn these things, it will make you much, much more effective, make you able to prepare, and make you much more effective in helping other people, which is really what this is all about. But we have to overcome the apathy. And in order to do that, people have to understand this is one of the most effective ways that you can present this information to other people, too. is what you do is you show them how it's affecting you. And one way you can do this, here's one quick tip. Go to the Global Skywatch website. The very second item on the very first column of links at the top says chemtrail-related illnesses. Go here and you will be shocked at how many people have these illnesses. In fact, I did a mainstream interview, one of the early interviews I did when I first started doing radio, and I was scared to death. I just was so scared. I was shaking because I had never done radio, never thought I'd be in radio. And this was on a station that has millions of, potential millions of viewers, or there are probably a huge metropolitan area, may have been a million listeners. I mean, I was just beside myself when I did the show. But they asked me what some of the symptoms are. The DJs did. This was during morning drive time of a very large radio station, a mainstream radio station, one of the largest metropolitan areas in the United States. And I told them the list of symptoms, and one of the two DJs said, "You know what? I have every one of those." And so this is a very effective way to wake people up and make it personal. Because unfortunately today, there's a lot of selfishness. And unless it is affecting them, unless people recognize it's affecting them personally, they don't seem to get involved. So go to Global Skywatch website, click in the upper left, the chemtrail symptoms, and share this. Even if you share this page with people who are not interested, they may have heard about this and they don't think it really relates to them. This is one effective way of getting them to care, because that's the problem. They don't care. And as long as they don't care, they won't do anything. As long as they don't do anything, nothing is going to change. And this is the shame, because the power for us to stop this, to change this, is always there. If everybody woke up one day and had an epiphany, I believe the spraying would stop in 3 months. If 3% of the population woke up and spent 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week doing something, the spraying would be done, would be stopped in 3 months. I want to tell you something. I wanted to say this at the top of the show, but I'm going to say this right now because it just came to my mind. About 2 months ago, doing some research, because I can smell and taste these things, I have been talking about how one of the chemtrail types that they spray every day now, this has become by far the most commonly sprayed type. I call it, and if you want to find the types, by the way, go to the Global Skywatch website. Here it is. Look at the live stream. Click on Personal Chemtrail Stories. Scroll down to the top of the list, Russ's chemtrail story. Click on that. And in the left sidebar, there's a link that says chemtrail types. Click this link to jump down to the types, and it's the very bottom type called model cement burnt plastic type. This chemtrail type is now the most common type that they are spraying, and I have neglected to mention this in the last program, and this is very, very important. I should have said it at the top of the show. Maybe I'll say it next week if I remember. This has become the type that they spray every single day. And it always happened that the most health damaging, the one that makes me feel the worst is the one they continue. And the older types, because there's 10 different types that I've detected now through smell and taste, have been done away with. Most of them have been done away with, and there's only a few they spray, and they're always the worst ones. This is the worst of the worst. And I did not realize what the odor actually was until somebody posted a video about snow that would not melt. And the snow that would not melt, they said, smells like model cement glue. And when I first experienced this chemtrail type, I recognized that it was a smell, it was a smell and a taste that I had experienced before, but I could not place it. And when I saw that video about model cement glue, immediately, it was 1 second, I said, that's it. That is the odor. Because when I was young, I would put together models. I loved jets. I would make models of jets, plastic models. That was one thing I did as a kid. You know, part of my nerdy background. That's why I know a lot about jets. I was always into jets and rockets. So it was model cement glue. And then what I did is I did some research and realized that the odor in model cement glue is attributed to toluene. Toluene is actually mentioned by Kristen Megan Whistleblower as one of the substances that she would monitor. I want to tell you this. I can't believe I've forgotten to tell everybody this, and I'm sorry it's at the end of the show. But what I detected when I made a meme, which is a picture that has a message on it. I put it at the top of our Facebook group that has 36,000 people there now about, is it toluene that we're being sprayed with? The day after I posted that meme, they continued spraying us just like every other day. But the very next day, so it was the day after I posted that meme on Facebook, we had 5 days in a row where that type was not sprayed. And in my post I made at the top of that 36,000 person Facebook group, I encouraged people to call their local testing facilities and try to see what's involved in getting the air tested in their area for toluene. 5 days in a row, and I kept track of this, 5 days in a row, the day after I posted that message on top of our Facebook group, this type ceased for 5 days in a row. That had never happened before. It's never happened since they had started spraying it about, a year and a half earlier before that, I think, or maybe 2 years. It's about a year and a half to 2 years old. That had never happened. They spray it virtually every day. When they first introduced it, almost every day. And I wanted to say what I want to tell you by saying that. And I'm first-hand witness of this. I smell and taste it. For 5 days it ceased, and then on the 6th day it started back up again. Because I made phone calls on that Monday. I believe it was a Monday. I made phone calls on that day. And I got pricing and information about how we can test the air for toluene. Because they monitor us. They're listening. And they're scared to death because if they find out, if the public finds out and has solid proof that toluene is appearing in the ambient air all across the United States or Western Europe or anywhere where they're spraying, then that's going to be such hard evidence, and it's such a toxic poison, and it shouldn't be there. It should not be there. So that 5-day break is a testament to the power that you have. Listen to what I'm saying. They don't want to be discovered. And that was astonishing to me. And I will probably mention this in several upcoming shows over and over again. That is a testament to the power that you have. All you've got to do is contribute. Get a group of people together in the area. Get 5-10 people all to contribute $15 and make it a cookout. Have a cookout and set up a toluene monitoring system. It's not completely simple. You may have to have an organization help you with it, because I found out it's a little bit pricey, and maybe $100 or $200 or $300 even to have the monitoring done. I haven't done it yet, but I would love to see this happen and see if we start finding toluene all over in the air. You know, and maybe it's not toluene. Maybe it's something that's very closely related. You know, one of those solvent, acetone solvent derivatives. It may be. But it sure smells like model cement glue. And it started at the same time that the snow that didn't melt started occurring all over the place, and everybody was making YouTube videos about snow that doesn't melt. So I will mention this again in future programs, but this is a solid testament to the power that you have. You know, for 5 days that type was gone, and I was just in amazement. I was counting the days. I was wondering how long it was going to go on that they didn't, because they haven't skipped. There hasn't been, I think, more than 1 day where they've skipped in the previous year and a half of that particular type. So interesting. I would love to get together. If anybody wants to do a toluene testing project, get together with me, contact me, let me know. Let's do it. Let's raise some funds and let's do this. And if it's not toluene, if it's acetone or some other solvent derivative, let's find out what it is. But whatever it is, it burns my sinuses, it gives me a headache, it makes me sweat, it gives me inflammation, it gives me joint pain, it gives me feelings of narcolepsy, it makes me very tired and very, very hard to think. Just makes me feel like you're on a sleeping pill or something. It's just horrible. But anyway, that's the power that you have. They do not want to be found out. And that 5-day break was just confirmation of what I've known all along, is that just even if a group woke up and found hard evidence of something this exotic in the air in multiple locations across the United States, this would blow this open. I'm not saying that everybody would suddenly start to care, but this would be a tool to help those who don't care, because these symptoms of toluene are virtually identical to the symptoms that we find associated with chemtrails. Virtually identical. So that's something to think about. You have the power. Please go to the Global Skywatch website, go to the top, and click on the link, how to get involved. This show is going to be here every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. It's a public meeting where everybody can get together. If you have announcements of upcoming events, I want those at the beginning. Get on here right when the show starts. I'm going to give an open mic, make announcements of what's coming up so people know that this is the place they can go to hear what's coming. EPA tomorrow. I will repeat this one last time. EPA meeting tomorrow. Here's what you need to know. Call-in number to listen live is 866-299-3188. The access code is 143-352-7160. Going to have 4 speakers: Max Bliss, Amanda Williams, and Jim Lee, and who was the other one? Sorry, forgot the other person. Sorry, no offense to the other person. I'm just tired. That's my fault. But four very prominent people will be speaking. The EPA is probably going to be putting out a big smoke screen calling these contrails, which is an absolute lie. As somebody who smells and tastes it, and someone who has heard from hundreds of others who smell and taste this, do not buy into this lie. It is my duty and it is my conscience, my duty and my conscience to be honest with everybody. That's why I do this radio show. This is not what I want to do. I have other things I want to be doing right now, but I do this out of an absolute sense of obligation because I would have overwhelming guilt if I didn't tell you what I was tasting and smelling. And because I have the technical ability to provide a forum, i.e. this meeting, this radio show, for other people to get on and share this information. Listen to last week's show. We had Mike call in. He did air testing. They found elevated aluminum in the air test, and it was covered up from the public. So listen to last week's radio show where that information was. What was that? The third? Yes, I think it was August 3rd. 2015. Listen to that show, Global Skywatch Radio, and check that out. And thank you for Mike. Thank you to Catherine. Thank you to Gary. Thank you for Kathy. I appreciate everyone who called in. We'll be here every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. This show will be what you want it to be. And next week we'll start getting into the deep, spiritual, esoteric parts of what is going on, because that's what people who have called me and told me want to hear about, because they want to understand what's going on in the heads of those who are doing this. So I will do my best to provide this information because this is one of my favorite areas of study. Everyone, I wish you a good night. Have a safe week. Join us tomorrow night for Geoengineering Watch Radio with Dane Wigington, myself, and Doug Diamond. You can find the a link to that live stream by going to Global Skywatch Radio and click the link, scroll down and click the link to the Geoengineering Watch Radio for the live stream. That's on Blog Talk Radio. That's every Tuesday evening, and I'll be there too. So we'll see you tomorrow night, and then we'll see you next Monday night at 9 Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Thank you, everybody. Good night to you all, and thank you for all the great work that you're doing. Good night, everyone.